Hello again, everyone. Welcome to Rome Business Radio. This is the Rome Floyd Chamber Small Business Spotlight. We broadcast from the Hardy Realty Studios, and we work in cooperation with the Rome News Tribune. I'm Roger Manus with Rome Business Radio.
And I'm Thomas Kissel with the Rome Floyd Chamber. Good morning, Roger, and almost happy Easter.
Good morning, Thomas. How are you?
Good.
How are things at the Chamber, as I always ask?
Always good.
Always busy.
Always busy, and yes, we can't complain.
Good. Well, we've got an eclectic group here. Lots of different businesses represented in our show this week. Could you please introduce our guests?
Yes, and happy to have guests here. We had a little break 2 weeks, but happy to have everybody here at the table today. And ladies first, we have Keisha Wooden here. She is with Alfa Insurance, with the Jerry Vincent agency. And then we have a duo here, Tina Talton and John Cowman from Wings over Georgia. And Tina is the event planner and chief of staff with the air show.
Good morning.
Good morning. And then John is the president.
Good morning.
And then right here next to me, last but not least, we have David Lance. He is a little bit kind of like my boss because he sits on the chamber board. So I have to behave today. And he's, of course, also the president and CEO of the Greater Community Bank here in Rome.
Good morning.
Hello, everybody. How are we?
Good. How are you, Roger?
I'm just hunky-dory, as we say, down south. Well, let's kind of get things started and go around and just kind of let everybody tell the story about just kind of a basic minute or two of your organization. Let's just I'm most intrigued by the air show. Let's just start here. Just give us a brief overview of what it's all about.
Well, we're Wings Over North Georgia is the show. The company is JLC Air Show Management, which is the parent company. And we are headquartered in Rome at the airport. We've been there since 2012. So we're pretty established now nationally. And, we work on other shows in other southeastern communities right now. So, but Wings Over North Georgia is our baby. And she's been here for a long time. And we want to try to, keep that going. So I'll just go ahead and get it out front. We still have not made a decision this year whether we're doing a show or not. We're working on jet teams. We have been contacted, but, scheduling and making all the dots come together this late in the season can be somewhat difficult. But more importantly, what we're working on as a company is a new project that's been underway now. How long, Tina? 4 years? Right. Yeah. It's called Air Show Racing Series. And this is where we are actually bringing drag racing in the air to air shows. And we just did 2 weeks ago a very stressful recertification. This has to be done every 2 years with the FAA. So we flew through that, made it, and we're just buttoning up some of the paperwork now for our 2-year recertification. And we hope to get this all launched with sponsors and different folks nationally. So if anyone out there has anybody would like to chat with us about being part of this air racing series on a national level, we'd love to have a chat with you.
Okay, so first of all, drag racing in the sky.
That is correct.
Wow. Drag racing on the ground is already riveting enough, I guess. How does that work? I hate to get in the weeds this early, but how does that work? How do they start?
Well, let me try to paint the picture. And if you can just take drag racing and just move it up in the sky. Now, instead of a quarter of a mile, we're looking at a 5,000-foot course, which is typically the size of an air show aerobatic box. Now we create 2 500-foot wide lanes in that box in the sky, and we put out 5 pylons. And these pylons, we haven't exactly come up with the final number, but they're going to be somewhere between 40 and 50 feet tall. If you ever watch the Red Bull air racing, you would kind of get a sense of what we're doing. But Red Bull is racing a clock, those guys. Our guys are racing each other side by side. So they're brought into the entry gate with a pace plane. The pace plane determines the altitude, determines the speed, and make sure they're where they're supposed to be on the wing. And then when he gets there, he'll make a call similar to smoke on, ready, now. And when he goes now, he's pulling up out of the way of those, and they go through the pylons. They go to the far end. They do a half hammerhead. They come back through the pylons, do another half hammerhead, and then they speed back to the middle pylon, which is the checkered flag pylon. All of that takes about a minute, and it's pretty exciting, especially after dealing with the pilots that we used for our test program. So we're pretty pumped about it. Now we're at the point we're validated, we're certified by the FAA to go out and do public air racing events nationally. And now we're at the point of getting underwriting and sponsorship so we can go ahead and put the program in motion starting next spring.
Well, that's a lot different from the drag race I saw in the movie Grease. But that's why I asked you what was interesting about it, because obviously drag racing, they start from a stopped position and then they accelerate. So a pace plane makes sense, but to sync all that up, it's got to be something where you might need insurance. So,
in fact, lots of insurance.
Bravo.
Well, that's called a segue in the business. Exactly. So, hi, Keisha from Alfa. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. So, tell us a little bit about your agency there, the Jerry Vincent Agency, right?
Yes. So, Jerry has had that agency for 21 years. I've been in the insurance industry for 8. We specialize in home, auto, life, and commercial. Alpha.
What about airplane drag racing?
I can get you a good contact.
Let me look into that.
I threw you a curveball, didn't I? Anyway,
yes.
Go ahead.
But the life insurance portion, I know I can help you on that. At the Jerry Vincent Agency, we try to make the insurance less transactional. You know, today there's so many competitors out there that you can log on and issue your insurance and you have insurance. We personalize. So we explain to you what you're paying for monthly, what that coverage is going to do for you and how it's going to protect you and your family and your assets. That's what really makes us shine compared to our competitors. We take pride in, answering any questions. A lot of companies have rules and guidelines that, if I hit you and I'm insured with someone else, then, well, here's the 1-800 number, you file your claim. No, you can come to my office and I'll be more than happy to help you do anything that I can because that's my job. So we really try to personalize, our insurance relationship with our clients.
It's interesting you talk about that because, David, I would imagine you guys are in the same type of frame of mind at Greater Community Bank. It's about the personal relationships. So could you talk about that from the banking perspective?
Community banking, it is all about relationships, no question about it. So we feel like we're high touch and high tech, and we try to combine the two. And, we don't have an 800 number that you call India for. We have great folks. We were real proud that last year we were recognized as one of the best banks to work for in the country. We were number 19 out of all the banks in the country.
In the country?
And so it's a very high compliment to our folks, and they do give service. We believe in giving service as you would like to have service done to you. And so, if you think about it, it's a pretty simple formula. And it does work extremely well. So, we try to listen to our customers. Can't always do what they want done, but we listen closely, and we try to get as close to it as we can.
Well, and you both touched on because it can get antiseptic because of technology. So what kind of a challenge is it for you to bridge that gap? To build that relationship when, you want to provide mobile banking, but you want the customer to still feel comfortable to come in the bank.
Yeah, I think the COVID era kind of accelerated the digital channels a little bit. I think more and more people got exposed to them. Obviously, there was a time when we only had our drive-thrus open, but everything we have now is open, except we are remodeling our East Rome branch right now, and we should have that lobby finished hopefully by the 1st of May or so we'll reopen that as well. But it is a challenge to stay current with the technology out there, and we think we've done a good job doing that. But you also need to have the human element to it.
And where are your branches?
Our branches, our main office, we're 27 years old. The bank's been here for 27 years, was originally Greater Rome Bank, and then it was rebranded a few years ago to Greater Community Bank. We've got 53 employees, and the main office is on Martha Berry, right by the post office. We have an office at East Rome by the YMCA, and then we've got a full-blown office in Calhoun on Highway 53, and we have an office in Carswell on Main Street.
And I know Cartersville is relatively new the past couple of years. Any other growth plans down the line, or big picture stuff, or?
Our bank's grown dramatically. We're about $330 million in total assets, and 10 years ago we were about $150 million. So we've had a good growth spurt. And we think North Georgia's growing, and we want to help support North Georgia, Northwest Georgia, and so yes, there's plans, but we're kind of digesting all we can digest right now before we do anything else.
Well, how long have you been there?
I've been at Greater Community Bank for 11, almost 12 years.
So the growth is under you?
Well, I wouldn't go that far. I would say the growth is a reflection of our great staff. We're also a sub S bank, and so our largest shareholder is our employees, and we think that makes a huge difference. They participate in an ESOP, and they own a little over 10% of the bank. So I know everybody around this table knows the owner is the one who always picks up the trash in the parking lot and turns the thermostat down and tries to spend money as if it's coming out of their pocket, which it is. And so our bank's been very successful. I think we don't have employee meetings. We have owners meetings. And, they understand the better the bank does, the better they're going to do, because they own 10% of it. So.
Gotcha. Okay, we'll come back around to David in just a minute. Tina and John want to touch back on the air show. So, Tina, no official word yet on this fall. You still are in a decision-making process, right?
That's correct.
So, I guess this is something y'all typically have to plan months in advance to get acts scheduled. Is that how that works? Years in advance. Yes. So that's why COVID has thrown a wrench with y'all for a while, I would imagine.
Well, actually, we were one of 9 shows in the nation that were able to have a show.
Right.
So we
have a jet team.
Yep.
Yeah. But the jet teams are actually on 2-year cycles. So they choose now, when this December, they will announce where they're going for 24.
Okay. So go ahead.
So that's how far ahead we have to work to get these teams.
Right, which is would it be safe to say you want to do one this fall? It's just a matter of the logistics of it. If you can make it happen.
I think the logistics is not as difficult for us now as it were, say, 5 years ago. What we're really waiting on is finding out what we call fallout dates. Some show that's going to cancel later this year, we may be able to snag that date. So that's what we've done in the past with the other areas that we produce shows at. So we're waiting for that as a possibility, and we'll just have to see. We know we can probably carry it all the way up till the end of June,
right?
And still pull this thing off fairly
because the target date here is the fall.
Yes, sir. Right now our target date is October 14, 15, whatever. Okay. And we've already been contacted by the Air Force asking us if we're willing to move it to the 7th and 8th. So, but that's not trying to say that's what's going to happen. But they're already targeting us for some opportunity that we're not sure will happen, or it may happen.
So wheels are in motion to try to make it work. But
always, every day.
For people who have never been to an air show, tell me what it's about. Just what do they experience? Y'all are debating who's going to answer the question.
No, she's good at that. Go
ahead. Well, I'd love for you to tell your story about how you even started this company, and because that plays back to why we do what we do and who we're trying to reach.
I'll try to do the condensed version. Yeah. I spent 37 years in the U.S. Air Force flying C-130s. Now, I was not a pilot. I was a load master. I was a crew member. But, if the plane flies, one of us is going to be on there. And it's a total crew concept. So I had a great career in doing that. And during the course, the latter probably 10, 15 years of my career, I was really a natural at big projects. Deployments, big deployments and special events and, just stuff that we get tagged for. I just had a knack for pulling all that together. So it finally came time for the last air show I did up at Dobbins, and that was in October of 10. And I think we had a little over 300,000 people show up for that little small show. And we had 2 jet teams. They had the Blue Angels and the Snowbirds for that one. So that was my grand finale before I retired. So during the course of the retirement year, I was being asked, what are you going to do? And I said, well, I'm not going to sit on the porch, smoke cigarettes, drink beer, and die like so many of our peer groups. So when they said, why don't you keep the dream alive? I said, what dream? Keep this air show thing going, move it, start your own company. So ultimately, that's what I did. And fortunately for us, landed at Rome because I was doing a lot of work with the Air Force up at Rome, doing airdrops out of the C-130. That's was our primary training center, which is kind of cool. But I knew Mike Matthews. He was the airport manager. We had already an established relationship through the years. And I rolled in on Mike one day. I said, hey, I got Snowbirds next September. Could I do the show at Rome? And he said, if you're doing the show, absolutely. So that's where it began in September of 12 with the first show. But it was a major transition, I tell you, to go from a government checkbook to a John checkbook. And I tell everybody, and to some extent it's real, I think I went bankrupt 3 times over the course of the last 10 years. But we just keep clawing and digging, and we find a way to succeed. But ultimately, the reason we do this is because I was that little kid years ago on the ground going to an air show, either looking through the fence or whatever. But I was always intrigued with that flying stuff. So I managed to fly in the Air Force. And I say it's me and a lot of great people, including Tina and the rest of our staff. We still are trying to provide that dream for the kids that are growing up now that don't necessarily have the opportunities that we try to provide opportunities.
And Rome is so blessed to have you guys, and that you
thank you.
chose Rome. And many people maybe don't realize that, but that air show it's one of the flagship social events in Rome.
Thank you.
And you guys, it's just a 2-man show usually, you guys. But you guys are the poster child of economic impact. I know Tina from board meetings at the tourism office, and when we talk about dollars and economic impact of 60,000 people being here for a 2-day event, that's tremendous. And you're way above any national tennis tournaments and other major events that we have. So it's tremendous, and you spread. You fly out, you spread out, you're ambassadors for Rome, and we love that.
Yes. Well, thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Well, now we know your background, Tina. Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Well, I was going to say too, Roger, a lot of people are not aware of why the Blue Angels and the Thunderbirds fly air shows. It is 100% recruiting for those, for the service. And a lot of people are not aware of that. So, and we were just talking about this yesterday. When they hit the ground, they go to the crowd and they go immediately to small children. And they want those impressions to begin with them that young, just like it did with John years ago. That's why these air shows are, in production that throughout the U.S. and, Canada.
So he mentioned his background was Air Force. What is your background, and how did you get involved?
That'll take a 6-pack of beer.
Right? Yeah, that's a whole nother story. But my background is marketing, advertising, and hotel sales. So I just met John when I moved to Rome in 2012, and he was looking for someone to help him. My skill sets, transitioned very well. Of course, now I've picked up many more since then. But we've had a really good, fun ride.
And the chemistry, I think, between her skill sets and my skill sets, where I'm more of an operator, she's more of that detail person. And, so that mix, sometimes it rubs together, but most of the time it produces great results. And obviously we're 10 years deep into this doing, multiple shows besides the Rome stuff.
Right. What is your background, Keisha?
Basically insurance.
Right. Are you from Rome?
I'm not. I am from Rocky Face, Georgia.
Oh, I know the I-75 exit.
Yes. So I grew up there, and 5 years ago, my husband and I moved to Center. So we reside in Center, and he works at Pirelli Tire here in Rome, and I work at Jerry's office here in Rome.
So y'all both commute every day.
We do, but we love it. Like the difference, when we come here, Rome is like our second home.
Well, it's interesting, Thomas. We do this from time to time. David, where were you born and raised?
I was born in Calhoun. I was actually born in Rome at McCall Hospital, but at the time,
McCall Hospital. What the?
I've never heard that one.
How old are you, David? No, I'm teasing.
Old enough.
I'm teasing. Well, and folks who don't know, your father was Burt Lance,
Correct.
Who served in the Carter administration. Correct. So yeah. So, but you're raised in Calhoun, right?
I was.
Well, it's just that's close enough. That's the Greater Rome metro area. But Thomas, the metro area. I was born in Armurchie. Thomas, we it's fascinating to me how much Rome has grown because we've had people on the show before, and there was a time years ago. Anybody from Rome? Sure, but now so many people. Like, where were you born and raised?
Down in Brunswick, Georgia, on the coast.
Yeah. So Rome is just growing and attracting, which I guess helps insurance people and helps bankers and gives more people to buy tickets for air shows. So actually, let's talk marketing because y'all had mentioned that a little bit, and I guess everybody has to do that when you're in business. How do you get the word out about yourself, David? Let's kind of start with you. Are you guys on social media, website, billboards, radio? What do you do?
All of the above, I think, is the answer. Yes, we do billboards. We do social media. We do constant contact. We do an awful lots of different things. And then websites, very current, very user friendly. So we try to reach folks in every channel we can use.
And I guess best marketing is word of mouth though, right?
Well, referral is as good as it gets. A good referral is as good as it gets. So, yes, word of mouth, you hope folks have good experiences. We're a bank. We recognize we don't always do everything absolutely correct, but we try to own our mistakes if we make a mistake, and it's served us well. Well,
and it seems to be a business. There are certain businesses in this world, and maybe I'm stereotyping here. People are incredibly brand loyal to their bank. Kind of when they open an account. So I guess retention is an important thing for you as well, right?
Absolutely.
And you just do that through customer service?
We do. We do that. And, we do that by trying to make sure we have all the products out there that they could possibly need or want. I'm surprised we hadn't had a conversation about interest rates yet. So I'm sure we'll circle back around to that.
No, you open the door. Talk to me.
Well,
we got inflation. We got it. What the heck's going on?
Inflation is not real till it affects you, but it affects everybody, I think, now, whether it's gas prices or building prices or just the delays, just the chain, delivery chains are unbelievable and all that. So we're seeing construction loans take longer. We're seeing them come in at higher pricing than ever before. The rule of thumb on a house used to be you better build a 10% reserve if you were building your house. We've seen it be as much as 25 and 30%. And it's, it's hard when you're trying to underwrite it on the front end and you just don't know what that end result's going to be. So it does make it difficult. Rates, I think the general thought is everybody believes rates are moving up. They have moved up the last few months, and we think they're going to continue to increase. Banks usually do best if it's just a stable rate environment, not a up or down, where you can predict and make those commitments and make that work. But we've had some really good years. We've had great credit quality. There's been lots of good indicators of the local economy, and so we're pretty bullish on everything still. But there are lots of just flags out there that make you say, "Whoa!" Let's think about it a little bit. Mortgage rates. Maybe 6 months ago, a 15-year was maybe 2.5, 2 3/4. This morning when I checked, it was 4.375. So, it's just hard. So the refinancings are going out, but if you've tried to buy a house or sell a house of late in Rome, Georgia, or really almost anywhere, but, there's no supply. and there's a huge amount of demand, and so it's just an interesting time. It may be as interesting a time as I've ever lived through as far as a banker goes.
Yeah, you say interesting because everything seems just a little out of whack, and it's making everything else a little out of whack. That's my official economic input, based on my economic understanding. Everything's out of whack.
Well, and I guess the example I would give about how things get out of whack and change a little bit is if you used to ever have a listing on a home or something, it was always I'd make an offer on it or pay listing price. Now it's almost a conversation where how much above list it sold for, and so it's very hard to figure because that's become more the norm right now than.
How does your bank handle this house is appraised at X, but yet it's going to be sold for double X? Yeah. I mean, how does that process work?
Well, the process probably isn't perfected in that regard because appraisals are always lag indicators. They always are of the moment, not of what the future moment is. And I do think that's a catch-up situation where it's extremely hard. So the banks are limited sometimes on what they can do. And so the way that gets taken place is for folks to reach out of pocket more money, or pay more down or whatever. But it is a strange circumstance because we just saw a deal where property a year ago was at this price, and in the last 11 months it almost doubled. Right. And you think what happened in the last 11 months? And there's an awful lots of money in the system right now. Obviously, the government's put lots of money into the system, but it's interesting times, honestly. And
yeah, that's the word you keep using, interesting. Have you seen the meme going around on social media that said, "I'm very excited. Just closed my loan at the bank. I got a great interest rate. I'm going to go buy some groceries and gas." Not funny, but true.
Yeah, it is.
Not true, but funny.
It is true, and it is crazy when you think about that. Just never would have seen those combinations be in the same conversations.
Yeah, just trying to make light of it, but hopefully everything will kind of stabilize and get us back to some sort of relative normalcy. But it's been a weird few years with COVID and pandemic and shutdowns and all of that. So Keisha, what do you guys do for marketing back to before we got off on the interest rates there? Are you guys in the social media business, radio, billboards? What do y'all do? Or is it just word of mouth?
Well, right now, of course, Jerry has his Jerry Vincent Alfa Insurance Agency Facebook page. And then he has started geo-tracking. So like if you're in a certain area within the Rome communities, if you scroll on your Facebook, his ad will pop up, which is really awesome. We've got positive feedback on that, a lot of, online quotes. He used to do billboards. That is in the works. He's, thinking on that. And really, like he said, referrals. Word of mouth is the by far the best marketing.
And you guys are using the best market tool ever because you're involved in the chamber actively. Keisha is a chamber ambassador, and it doesn't really get better than that because you're involved and right there where everything happens. So,
yes.
And that's where actually the word of mouth got to start somewhere, and you're together with 30 different people with 30 different networks, and you are a poster child of utilizing the chamber properly. So,
and I would have to just echo that about the ambassador program. It's a very, very strong program, and the chamber does an extremely good job with that.
Thank you, Lance.
Well, because there's some things that unite all businesses. You might be in this business or that business. There's entrepreneurial risk. There's, as you touched on, sometimes you got to fight that economic fight to fund things, find sponsorship. But marketing is something that, people need to hear about the bank or the insurance agency. How do you guys market the Wings Over North Georgia?
Yes. We have tried everything through the years. And
everything.
Yes. But what's beautiful about an air show in that community is that there are tons of followers, and meaning there are enthusiasts, but then there's also photographers, and those guys will really, send you everywhere through social media. So really, social media for us has been the strongest tool. Although we've tried traditional media of all kinds, radio, TV, billboards.
I think what's amazing from when we began this journey in 2012
right.
and to where we are now and see the changes. Because like Tina referred to, we used to be traditional, but now we are really out of the box thinkers, and we have to be in order to keep up.
Yeah, because our shares are so strong, again, with just enthusiasts, photographers, just, followers. So for us, social media is really the place to be.
Well, and you mentioned that y'all did, of course, we're familiar with Wings Over North Georgia, but how many shows does your company do, and in what other locations?
Well, we've got 2 that's on the horizon. I can't speak to them here. We're hoping to bring one of them on board within the next, maybe 45 days. We've got a meeting this afternoon after I leave this one, but that's going to be a big show. And then we've got another one that we're working on. We think it's going to bear fruit, but we've done them in Myrtle Beach. We've done them in Brunswick, my hometown, but we haven't gone back there due to just a lot of times community difficulties. It's very difficult from our seat to get the community on board, to get all the county, the city, and all the other little strings that everybody's got to want this thing, or it won't work. So that's the beauty of, at least in Rome, everybody wants it and it appears they want to keep it here. But, once we get that going in a community, and that's where the other one that we're really excited about, we've been working with them for 4 years to get this one stood up, and it looks like it's going to happen. But anyhow,
well, good luck with that.
Thank you. And but yeah, we've got a pretty broad reach in the industry itself because we are looked upon as a favorable producer. So we get involved with other shows. I'm helping Vidalia right now.
I was just going to say we consult on many other shows as well. So,
but to bite off a show and own it, that's a pretty expensive proposition.
Wow, right. Well, let's go around the room one last time here and get anybody's final thoughts to make sure you want to mention anything that maybe you haven't mentioned yet, anything upcoming or a special promotion or what have you, or also contact information, your website, social media, how people can connect or follow you, or anything else you just want to make sure you get said before we say goodbye. David, we'll start with you, please, sir.
Sure. Our web address is greatercb.com, and would invite everybody to come to our webpage and check it out. If you want a community bank, if you want to see how a great group of folks respond to you, give us a shot. We'd love for you to come by anytime. We just remodeled our office in East Rome. We're real proud of that. Our building in downtown Rome is gorgeous, even though it's 26 years old, and we just completed a new remodel in our office in Calhoun, and it's really state of the art. So we'd love for you to come by anytime and experience our Southern hospitality.
Beautiful. Keisha, any final thoughts or contact information for you guys?
Well, our agency is off of Redmond Road in the Redmond Office Plaza. We would love, just a quote, just takes a few minutes and to see the difference that our agency has to offer from our competitors. We would love to help everyone. Our phone number is 706-295-7876. You can find us on Jerry Vincent Alfa Insurance Agency on Facebook, and then alphainsurance.com/Jerry Vincent will take you to our direct page as well.
Okay. And Tina and John, any final thoughts or contact information, how to connect with you guys, follow you guys on social, website, what have you?
Yeah, we're pretty much wingsovernorthgeorgia.com and Wings Over North Georgia Facebook. That's primarily the air show here. The parent company's JLC Air Show Management. But more importantly, right now, I'm really wanting to push the fact that the Air Show Racing Series as a website is very basic right now because we're still building the content behind it. But the Air Show Racing Series Facebook page is very active. And if you want to see what we've done and watch some video of it, it's a great little site to go better understand what we're doing new.
And people should follow so that when When do you think you might know about this fall officially here, one way or the other? When do you think we might expect an announcement, hopefully? And would the best way to do that be to follow your social to find out? We'll know when you know?
Yeah, you'll know quickly because our PR department will actually, do press releases and all that stuff. Plus, we will blow it out on Facebook as well.
But you said maybe a couple of months we'll know?
I'm hoping less than that.
Okay.
We'll make a grand decision one way or another.
One way or the other.
Yes,
okay.
sir.
Thomas, any final thoughts or a quotation? Did you bring a quotation, Thomas?
Of course. I'm going to close with that today. But first of all, everyone on the table, it's just a prime example of how unique Rome is, and after many, many years, it pays off. People realize where Rome is. People are moving to Rome. We just heard in the news, we're getting 1,000 more homes. And, there's a reason why people want to move to Rome, because it's beautiful, it's unique, it has, state-of-the-art events that reach not just the region, they are nationally renowned events. And, that creates a halo effect, that's a nice to have, and we are so pleased and blessed to have you guys. But then, that creates jobs and generates, economic dollars for the city, attracts new people to move in, and then you guys come in with not the nice to haves, the have to haves. Everybody needs a good banker and an insurance broker, and then you have to have that personal touch. We all at the end of the day in the people's business. So it's just a prime example in what great of a community we live. And I want to close with a quote. You're a big fan, the biggest fan I know, Elvis.
Elvis Aaron Presley, the king of rock and roll.
So chime in if you know this one. As long as a man has the strength to dream, he can redeem his soul and fly.
Yes, very nice.
From the song If I Can Dream, that he used to close his 1968 television special, that Elvis fans now refer to as the Comeback Special. But at the time when it was broadcast, it was called Singer Sewing Machines Presents Elvis. And it was his return to the live stage after 8 years of doing bad movies.
Wow. I don't want to play Elvis trivia with you.
So I just thought I'd throw that in there. I'm one of those crazy people. Well, anyway, thank you so much, everybody, for being here. This was great. It was great to chat with everybody. You've been listening to the Rome Floyd Chamber Small Business Spotlight. This is Rome Business Radio. We broadcast from the Hardy Realty Studios, and we work in cooperation with the Rome News Tribune. Thank you so much.